Welcome back to Blue City Pickin' and Selling. I am Carrie, and if you are new here, I am a part-time reseller who goes and sources at thrift stores, estate sales, yard sales, other places, and attempts to flip things for a profit on eBay. We are back with another Ching. This is Ching number 8 for the week of October 20th through the 26th. Much better week this week. I had 30 sales and my total price that I sold everything for, and this is excluding shipping and tax, was $652.37. And my gross profit on that was $399.41. So a 61% margin, which is absolutely wonderful. My average sales price was $21.75 and my average gross profit was $13.31. So inching back up to that $15 to $20 per item that I like to get. The worst sale of the week was I lost $1.65, and then the best sale of the week I made $45.28. As far as time to sell, the average time to sell for these items this week was 81 days. So I had a lot of old stuff move out this week, which is absolutely amazing as well. The fastest sale was 1 day and the longest was 250 days. So all in all, happy with the results for this week, hoping that this is an indication of things starting to recover a little bit, but you just never know with the ups and downs of reselling. So without further ado, let's get into what sold this week. First up is the worst sale of the week. This was a Funko Pop WWE Rocky Maivia. Purchased this for $6.33 off of out of a Funko mystery box. Sold it for $6 and lost $1.65, and it took 89 days to sell. Next up is this Gemmy air-blown inflatable Frankenstein. I picked this up at a yard sale for $3. I sold it for $17.40 and profited $11.32. And I just went ahead and took an offer on this one because I didn't want it sitting in my inventory until next Halloween. So it took me 28 days to sell that. Next item is some ephemera. So this is a vintage Beauties of the Desert souvenir postcard folder that I picked up for $1 at an estate sale. Sold it for $7.04, made $4.64, and it took 149 days to sell. That was back when I was picking up postcards and things and trying to sell them. I just don't know if they're worth the effort. They're super easy. They don't take up a lot of space to store. So I almost put it in the same category as some of the jewelry that I pick up. If I get a really good deal on it, I'll pick it up. But if not, I just don't even bother. My time is worth some money as well. Next item is a lot of 2 milk glass bud vases. These are a geometric pattern. I picked these up at the church rummage sale for 50 cents, and they sold within 12 days, and I profited $8.55. Next up is this Canon. I'm not even sure what this is because I'm not a photography person, but a Canon MA battery pack without the motor drive. I picked this up in an estate sale in a camera bag that I paid $2 for the camera bag and the contents. So I allocated $1 to this. Sold for $36.75. I made $30.58, and it sold within 6 days, and I already received positive feedback for it. Next item is this Lenox oblong tablecloth. I picked this up at a Goodwill for $3.14. It was in immaculate condition. It was blue, floral, very large, and it sold for $20. I profited $13.67, and it took 60 days to sell. Next up is another item that I just went ahead and took the offer on because I didn't want it sitting around till next Halloween. And it's this Madame Trousseau Skulls Black Blanket. Paid, let's see, $2.37 for this at a Goodwill. Sold it for $11.87. Profited $6 and it took 79 days to sell. Next up is this. This is out of my personal clothing that I was purging. This is a Harry Potter embroidered like quarter zip pullover sweatshirt. It was embroidered with always, and it had the Deathly Hallows signet symbol on it. Sold that for $11.96, profited $9.61, and that took 250 days to sell. So that was the longest item in my inventory. Next up is this Carrots jacket that I found at a local Goodwill for $7.44. I thought this was a woman's, but then when I got home, it was definitely a youth size medium. I sold it for $22.62 and made $10.80 in 35 days. So I'm happy with that return and then the amount of time I was able to get it out of my inventory. Next up is this Faribault 100% wool throw blanket and scarf. These are stadium blankets and they're vintage, and I have another one in my inventory that I picked up a while ago. They're usually not too expensive, but they sell for pretty decent money. So I paid $5.15 for both of these pieces at an estate sale and sold it for $27.20. Profited $16.21 in 11 days. So really happy with that. Next up are some more things that I've cleaned out of my home. This is a vintage handmade, I know it's handmade because my grandmother made it, table runner that is poinsettia with tassels on the ends. I sold this for $23.12 and profited $19.38, and it took 90 days to sell. Don't worry, I still have plenty of what my grandmother made, and I had kept the best pieces for myself. But this one was one that I was hoping to get somebody else that loves it just as much as I did. Next item is this set of 2 One Direction folders. I bought this in a huge lot with Justin Bieber folders. It looks like at about 150 days ago. I've sold everything out of this lot, I believe, at this point. I may have one set of Bieber folders left. So I have no money into these two because I allocated most of the dollars to the Justin Bieber. So I sold this for $6.28 and I made $4.74. Next item is this vintage Hemingway glass insulator that was yellow and it was made in the USA. I sourced this off of Whatnot and I paid $13.95 each for lots of 3 insulators. I sold this for $40, made $18.50, and it took 22 days to sell. Next up is the camera bag that I purchased with the Canon battery pack as well. So I have $1 into this. It's a Tamrac camera bag. I've had good luck selling these. I've sold a couple over the year. The last year, I sold it for $18, profited $16.24, and it sold within 5 days. So very happy with that return and time frame. Next item is this vintage lot of 50 plus souvenir pins that I picked up on Whatnot as well. I was hoping that when I purchased this, there were going to be some gems in there. However, there were really none that warranted that I should pull them out and lock them up separately. So I was just trying to get my money back at this point. I paid $19.91 for this when you added in shipping, etc. off of Whatnot. I sold it for $24 and I made 48 cents. But it only took 17 days to sell, so I'm happy that is gone. Next item is this vintage Sirocco. So that's Syracuse Ornamental Company, I believe, Ornamental Wood Company. There was a set of 2 wall sconce / candle holders. Picked these up at an estate sale. I made a pile, so you should have seen that in a video not too long ago where I had my estate sale piles and I put an average cost of goods of $2.92 on each thing. Sold these for $23, so I profited $14.43 in just 6 days. Next up is a Squishmallow. This is a Hug Me. So not your traditional Squishmallow, a different style. This is a Valentine's one, and this is Tanya the Unicorn. I picked this up at a Goodwill for $2.99. I sold it for $9.48. I profited $4.33, but I had had it for 211 days, so I am glad to get that gone. Next item, you should have seen in a recent pickup of mine as well. This is a women's, I don't even know how to say this properly, denier. Burgundy, like maroon color leather jacket. It was very Y2K in my opinion, extra small. Picked this up at a Goodwill for $10.24. Sold it for $36.75. Profited $22.06 in just 11 days. So very happy with that return. Next item from my estate sale pile was this Central Park Conservancy glass ball ornament. It was hand painted on the inside. It was really pretty. It came with the box. I sold it for $15.59. Same with the others. Cost of good was $2.92. And so I profited $10.84 for the fastest flip of the week that only took a day, and already got positive feedback from the buyer on that. Next item is something that I sold for the charity that I consigned for, and it is like a gift box from Michael Kors, and it had a scarf, some gloves, and a hat in there. I sold this for $39.16. All of what was left went to the charity, so I didn't make anything on this, and it flipped within 52 days. Next is a lot of two that one buyer purchased. These are bright white square embroidered linen napkins. Picked these up in an estate sale quite a while ago. They were in my inventory for 226 days. Paid $3 for each grouping. Sold them for $7 and $10 respectively. Profited about, I believe, right at $10 for both of them together. Will not be picking these items up again. Live, learn, move on, make it gone. Next up is this Bosch laser distance tape measuring tape. I picked this up at a yard sale not too long ago. You should have seen that probably in a haul video. I paid $3 for this. I think this was a charity yard sale where I paid up for some stuff that normally I wouldn't pay that much, but it was post-hurricane and I didn't mind. I sold this for $19.20 and profited $13.31 in 5 days. Next is an item I sold for my parents. This is a Nintendo Wii video game console. These don't sell for as much as they used to. This was the Wii, the console. It had some controllers, etc. Sold it for $49.02 and profited $45.28. And most of that went back to my parents, but it took 2 months to sell. Next item is my Johnny Was tunic that I found at the Goodwill for $6.07. And this sold within 5 days for $46.79. And I profited $35.25. So very happy with the quickness that sold as well as the profit on it. Next item is a Brighton pebbled leather bucket purse. It is black. It was in great condition, vintage. I paid $10 for this at a local thrift store. Sold it for $38.18. Made $23.57 within 52 days. Next item is this vintage like 1950s vinyl diaper bag. I just thought this was the cutest thing ever and picked it up at an estate sale for $3 back in May. I sold it for $15.16, made a gross profit of $11.38, and like I said, it took about 150 days to sell. Next up, in the items similar to the Frankenstein, I went ahead and sold this Jemmy Holiday Blow Up Santa. Those things take up a lot of space in my inventory. I paid $5 for this at a yard sale back in August and sold it for $20, profited $9.02, and happy with that return. Next item is this Voyager Passport A, like kindergarten student reading pack. It was missing a couple of pieces, but I picked this up at Goodwill for $3. Sold it for $19.88, profited $10.25, and that took 164 days to sell. And last but not least, the last sale of the week was this vintage 1974 Playmobil set of figures. This was the Rescue Series Firefighter Crew, 5 figures. It had the boat and more. I sold this for $20. I bought these in an auction back in May, and where I bought like the entire group of what was on the floor of a closet, and I found like some really great nuggets in there with like Muscle Men, this, and some other stuff. So I have made my money back, so I have no cost of goods assigned to this, and I profited $17.79 in 173 days. So great week, much better than last week. Hoping that this is the uptick that I'm looking for as we head into Q4 post-Halloween. Hope you had a wonderful spooky month and that your sales are seeing some similar positive trends. If you like this kind of content, I would appreciate it if you would give me a like, a subscribe, and throw a comment down below on how your sales are going. What was your best sale of this last week, or the best sale of October? And I will see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.